This is a very special animal. His forefathers were a little bit English, a little bit Spanish, maybe even a little Middle East. When it all got together just right, those mixed genes made him into the fastest running horse over short distances that man had ever raced. He proved it many times over on the roads and streets of 18th century America. He was known by many names, the American quarter running horse being one of the best known. As the settlers moved west, so did he. And only then did his great versatility begin to show. Hidden in those genes was an amazing, innate cow sense that made him a cowboy's dream. His gentle disposition made him a natural as a buggy horse. And he loved people so much that he would exhaust himself to the point of dying if they asked it of him. He's the first horse breed established in our country. Today, he's known simply as the American quarter horse. He is truly America's horse. The great quarter horse sires are legend. Their names are a part of a distant romantic past. Names like Janus, Steel Dust, Billy, Peter McHugh, each with their own magical story. Yet perhaps the real magic is not in the past. Today there are more quarter horses alive in the United States than ever before. Registered quarter horses exceed the total number of all other horse breeds. Yet this is the late 20th century, an age of electronics, of space shuttles, of megalopolitan areas with smog and traffic jams. Where does the horse fit into this? What kind of anomaly is he? His versatility has enabled him to survive the onrush of civilization. He was bred to run, and run he does. When quarter horse racing returned to popularity, it did so with a vengeance. Today, there are over 100 quarter horse tracks in America. Nearly $400 million are wagered annually, and purses total over $60 million. The richest of all is here, Ruidoso Downs, Ruidoso, New Mexico, where Labor Day weekend bears witness annually to a race with a purse of over $2 million, a winner's share of an even million. It's called the All-American Futurity, and they come from all over the country to attend this legend of horse racing. And while this richest of quarter horse races is held in tiny Ruidoso, New Mexico, the major metropolitan centers boast their own tracks, like this one in the sprawling Los Angeles area. This is Los Alamitos Race Course in Los Alamitos, California, where night racing attracts the owners and the bettors. Racing quarter horses account for 20% of the total quarter horses in America today. The rest of them live highly divergent lives, proving all over again that the quarter horse is, indeed, the world's most versatile horse. From California in December, let's head east. Pocatello, Idaho, late March. The weather's still raw and real spring is several weeks away. This is another kind of racing. It's called Cutter and Chariot. The World Cutter and Chariot Racing Association is comprised of 35 different clubs located primarily in states in the Intermountain West. Membership ranges from 20 to 150 members per club. Competing here today are a total of 120 teams. Each team is allowed 3 horses, 2 pulling the chariot and 1 alternate.
These chariot races are more of a family event. Most people you see up here have all their kids and their wives are all involved in it in one aspect or another. My kids, they brush the horses and tell me what I can do and can't do with them. We've got 31 associations up here from 5 different states.
I'm Art Hudspeth from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and I started racing 22 years ago when my feed team used to run off with me. And then I hitched up a couple of saddle horses, and I've been running for 22 years straight. We used to make our own chariots. The first one I had was made out of a front axle of a Model T car. And they were heavy. We used to run on the dirt, tracks, snow, and now we've improved, and the chariot that I'm using today weighs 60 pounds. I like the sport of it, and we've got a great bunch of fellas running, and I like to just be competitive, and I'm 74 years old, and I hope I can continue.
It's definitely a family sport. I'm the wife of one of the chariot racers, and we as a family do quite a bit of it. We help him with the chores and help him hook up, and I usually do the decorating. We have 6 children that help do chores and clean stalls and feed and water and jump in the chariot when the races are over, if he wins. If he loses, we walk away.
You know, I've rode a lot of bareback horses. I used to ride bareback broncs when I was a kid. And I'm telling you right now, it's a whole lot like it. You ain't gonna stop 2 of them horses giving her all they got leaving that car. If something goes wrong, you hope for your best. Because not only have you got to feel one horse going, you've got to feel both of them. And you've got to feel them together running in stride. And in doing so, you've got to keep your head, you've got to watch some other guys, you can't drift. Everything, I mean, you cannot panic and be a cutter racer. I'll tell you what, they can talk about any sports event in the world. But I'll tell you, when you get behind a team of them horses in that gate, if you get a good break, they're going to leave so hard, they'll pretty near take your breath away. And that's when all the sporting blood boils right up the back of your head. When you clear them panels and everything's looking good, and you look over at your opponents, you're watching your horses, you're watching theirs, you're not trying not to ever let them get out of stride. And I'll tell you, it's a thrill that the only way you're going to experience it is to get in a chariot and go.
A quantum geographical leap now, Florida, and the month of June. Here, in a place more noted historically for Ponce de Leon and his search for the legendary Fountain of Youth, or today for its citrus groves and warm Gulf waters that attract hordes of winter visitors, there exists a short 60 miles inland from the Gulf Coast, a small pocket of horse breeders that rival Kentucky for the splendor of their facilities. The ever-increasing growth of horse ownership has turned breeding into a big business. And here, where ageless live oaks provide cooling shade for the mares and their foals, the limestone in the soil is believed to produce a stronger bone and a better muscle tone in the horse. And in the increasingly more competitive world of horse breeding, every edge, real or imagined, is exploited. Famous bloodlines are nurtured and improved. The most nutritious hay is imported from as far away as the coastal lands of South Texas. And mares and foals and stallions are treated as if they were worth their weight in gold, which, as champions or future champions, they may well be. A workout track is maintained for the training and development of future runners. Young horses cut fluid figure eights through the lush grass while learning their lead changes. Then slide gracefully to a stop on a soft, sandy road, readying themselves for competition in some future reigning championship. While in many ways horse breeding is big business, It differs from those that deal in the manufacture of cold, impersonal items, hardware or software or appliances. This is the manufacturing of flesh and blood, and requires more than an accountant mentality. It takes nerve and patience and understanding, and most of all, a love for the product and a type of sixth sense that only an empathy with horses can give you. In those years when the numbers drop into the red, the satisfaction of the breeder must come from being surrounded and loved by what may really be man's best friend. It's that same love for horses that accounts for the more than 2,400 American quarter-horse sanctioned horse shows in North America annually. The State Fairgrounds Arena, here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, hosts the most prestigious of all, the American Quarter Horse Association's annual World Championships. Over 1,400 entries compete for thousands of dollars and the title of World Champion. But prize money is not the motivating factor. Here, near Pinehurst, North Carolina, most famous for its golfing facilities, over 200 horse owners and trainers congregate to compete, not for money, but for the satisfaction of the competition itself, for the possibility of winning a blue ribbon. 16 states are represented here, and horses and riders reflect that diversification.
I'm Wendy Farrow, and I'm from New Jersey. And I like shouting shows because I like to be able to go and compete against other people.
My name's Beth Ann Huffaker, and I'm from South Bend, Indiana. I've been showing horses for 11 years, and I really enjoy meeting different people from different states.
Hi, I'm Carol LeBlanc from Gainesville, Florida. I've been showing horses for about 25 years.
My name's Terry Wilkerson from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I've been showing for 5 years now.
Troy Compton, I'm from Aubrey, Texas.
My name is Sue Kerr, and I'm from North Carolina. I like showing because I like all the traveling and seeing new sights and meeting new friends.
I'm Bill Bren, W.J. Bren from Sanford, North Carolina. I've been riding quarter horses and jumpers and so forth since I was about 10, 12 years old. I'm now 68.
My name is Debbie Wolliver. I'm from Topping, Virginia. And I do this for a hobby, and I just like being with other people, the competition.
I am 7.5 years old, and I like to ride horses in the horse show because it is fun.
I just came here to compete for the fun of it. It's the first big show I've ever been in.
From showmanship to Western pleasure to hunt seat equitation, there are over 60 different classes of competition, including those for the youngest to the oldest. For the working hunter and jumping classes, the show moves out of the arena with the obstacles placed atop a grassy knoll, giving both the crowd and the rider a greater feel of riding to the hounds, through the fields and over the fences of a bygone era. So too the trail horse class. When seen performed in an arena, it's sometimes hard to comprehend that all horse show classes are derived from actual working conditions from the past. Watching the trail horse work outside the arena, it's easier to conjure up a mental image of a younger time, when a man's very life might depend on the ability of his four-legged friend. A time, it is said, when a cowboy got off his horse only to climb into his bedroll. Far to the north now, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and the Calgary Stampede. Calgary, a town that nearly triples in size during 1 week in July, primarily because of the attraction of the horse. Here, the world's largest rodeo attracts visitors from all over Canada, all 50 U.S. states, and a smattering of foreign countries as well. And while there are other attractions, like the Midway with its carnival-like atmosphere and its twirling, spinning, heart-grabbing rides, big-name entertainers and lavish stage shows, the nearly 1 million visitors come here to watch the performance of horses and cowboys, competing professionally for thousands of dollars in prize money. There are the usual man-against-animal contests, like buffalo riding, wild cow milking, bareback bronc riding, and saddle bronc riding. All flavorfully spiced with the antics of the clowns, whose efforts are not only funny and crowd-pleasing, but in many an instance, life-saving for the cowboys. But the creme de la creme are those events where the cowboy and the horse are partners, not antagonists. Calf roping, where the quick acceleration and maneuverability of the quarter horse is an invaluable asset. Barrel racing, requiring agility and speed. Steer wrestling. Demonstrations of raw power and guts by both horse and cowboy in the crowd-pleasing chuck wagon races. And under the massive tent, the cutting horse reigns supreme, going head-on-head. This ultimate test of cow sense requires the quickness of a cat and the precision of a ballet dancer. And at the climax of each day, the still glowing far north sky bursts open, filled with man-made light. So there are races and horse shows and rodeos where the horse is effectively a performer. But there are places in America where time seems to stand still and where the quarter horse remains as a working partner of the cowboy. This is the King Ranch, Kingsville, Texas. Founded in 1853 by Captain Richard King, the King Ranch has long since established its own chapter in the book of Western legend. Today, the King Ranch consists of some 825,000 acres of land in southern Texas alone, with additional ranches in 9 foreign countries. The horse has been a working member of the King Ranch family since the very beginning, and still is. This is a roundup. The time, late 20th century. The place, a 10,000-acre pasture, Northeast Division, King Ranch. Here, some 400 head of Santa Gertrudis cattle are rounded up on horseback. Then the work begins. The dry cows and the yearlings are cut from the herd to be shipped to market or to other parts of the ranch. calves are vaccinated and branded, and for a few weeks, the clock has been turned back over 100 years. The remuda consists of over 200 horses, and the cowboys change their mounts frequently to keep from overtiring any horse. Many of the horses here are descendants of the first great cow horse to ever work the King Ranch, Old Sorrow, one of the legendary quarter horse sires. Wimpy, a double-bred grandson of Old Sorrow, was given the first registration number in the American Quarter Horse Registry in 1940. Two of the top cutting horse sires of today go through their paces at the roundup and prove that they still know what a cow is and what to do with her. Now, from the sprawling, sandy grasslands of southern Texas to the jagged peaks of the Colorado Rockies. Where the quarter horse once carried the country doctor on his rounds, he now carries other doctors on a vacation. The Roundup Riders of the Rockies, a group of nearly 150 men from all walks of life, all professions. Some are ranchers, some presidents of corporations, some are horseshoers, some are doctors. This annual 6-day trail ride was begun in 1948 to promote the scenic splendor of Colorado. Today it has become a way to recapture that special relationship of man and horse and wilderness. They come from 20 states every summer to ride more than 100 miles of high country trail in a 6-day period. At a layover camp, there's competition between horses. And between men. It's a week of tall tales and empty bottles and some of the finest food ever eaten. It's part roughing it and part being catered to in style. But most of all, it's a man and his horse and his friends doing the kinds of things in the kind of place that makes you forget for a few days that the world has changed, and not always for the better.
So you've been riding your horse?
Yeah.
How much?
Not very much. 2 cents a year.
We need to get you guys ready for going back to Old Tulsa. Chris is going to go again this year.
Will he?
Will he be ready?
I don't know.
Yet for all his versatility, the thing the quarter horse may be best at after all is as a family pet.
Thanks. How's college going?
Fine.
Here on a crisp winter morning on the Colorado Plains, he's not only a source of conversation at the breakfast table, he's a whole day's worth of fun and adventure. And most of all, love. Whether he's pulling chariots in Idaho, cutting cattle in Texas, bulldogging in Canada, showing off at a horse show in North Carolina, winning races in Ruidoso, or trail riding in the Rockies, the American quarter horse is a very special individual. He's the warmest, most loyal friend a person can ever know. From the fiercest competitor to the most loving companion, he's America's horse.